previously on Talk That Talk.
My answer is going to be yes and no, right? I think yes from these standpoints. First of all, HBCUs are more nurturing to their students. They just are. We teach our students the importance of relationships. And I think that's important with being a effective leader and band director. So from that standpoint, we get a lot of that at HBCUs. Teachers that were willing to bend over backwards to make sure we had what we wanted. Like I don't want this, to just be, you know, all the things that we can improve on, right? Like our teachers are usually great at that. I think they are from the standpoint of music is music. It don't matter what type of band you marched in. It don't matter what school you went to. Like I always say, and I'm gonna keep saying, a concert of in tune is a concert of no matter where you are. It doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a style. It is what it is. So from that standpoint, I think our students have an opportunity that students from those PWIs do not, because I can go into a PWI and teach music. Music is music, but they can't come to an HBCU and do what we do. Yeah, it's challenging to do core style. It is, especially to do it with great technique. But if you learn that, you are marketable, in my opinion, above a lot of those students. Here's where we face a challenge. It depends on what school you go to. Sorry, here we go, rough on feathers off top. Depends on what school you go to. If your school is teaching you the importance of good musicianship, playing in tune, articulations, actually, coming in together and stopping together, all those things that are just music fundamentals, regardless of what type of style you choose to do. If your school is teaching you that, you will be a successful band director because you have a standard that's been set and you are marketable. If the only thing your school focuses on is marching band, you need to go have a talk with your administration. The fact of the matter is, if your school is only known for the marching band, all you do is marching band, you are not ready to go out here and be a band director. I know it's hard for some of us to hear the truth. The fact of the matter is, when I left my university, I was not prepared to do my job at a high level. My first couple of years teaching, I was not great. And I know that. But what did I do? The same thing I did when I was in college trying to acquire knowledge. I just kept looking for it. I kept finding people to talk to. I kept attending conferences. I was marching drum and bugle corps at the time, so I was getting that type of instruction as well. I was adamantly looking for what I was looking for. I wanted to be great at my job. So if you're not doing those things, you can overcome your situation if your school is a marching band focused school, but you have to do more to get your own success. And then lastly, I think I'll say, man, because Quan touched on a lot of it, because I think Quan was spot on. At the end of the day, we have to have higher standards in general. Like, there are some good band directors out there. Like Quan, Julian, I'm always looking to talk about the positive on this show. It's easy to identify the negative. There are a lot of good band directors out there. And there are a lot of good band directors that went to some of these universities that may not have the most wind ensemble focused programs. But the key to all of those people is they were able to silence out the noise and do what they knew was right. Quiet the critics that, got their degrees from YouTube University and the University of Facebook. Quiet those people out and say, okay, I know what the concepts are that matter to creating great music and being like just absolutely uncompromising when it comes to doing those things. Because at the end of the day, the people that hate on you the most can't do what you do. And I'll just leave it there.
All right. So let me say this. I think y'all gave some very good thoughts on this. So I'm gonna add a little context to this. So when I listened to the other podcast, the ideas and the thoughts that you guys came with were the exact same things that I was thinking about until they hit with something that I was like, oh shoot, I didn't think about it. So one of the things that they were talking about when we put our kids out there into the real world, a lot of people are uncomfortable with communicating with white folks, and I'm just going to put it out there, because they've spent a lot of time only ingrained in our culture. Whereas at a PWI, they've had that chance to be able to converse and be around those cultures, so it's easier for them to adapt into those cultures. So in the music education realm, remember that we don't compete against ourselves. We're competing against the totality. And I mean, you can apply that to any market for the most part, but just talking about music education. So in that regard, when we think about it from that perspective, going back to the question, are HBCUs preparing our students for real life?
I think that is a valid argument, but the problem is with that argument is this: most students that are going to HBCUs, it's not all obviously, but most students that go to HBCUs are going to teach in schools that look like they're HBCU, especially as band directors. So even in that situation, they don't have to have those quote unquote skills that you were speaking of. So and I'm not necessarily sure that that's true.